The Discover Scuba Diving Experience is led by your instructors, Danel and Jesse. The goal for us today is to try and uncover some of the unknown in regards to scuba diving, so that you may have somewhat of a reference point when joining us on the day. So if you're ready, let's dive in.
Jesse, would you like to tell our students what topics we will be covering today?
Yes, of course. The 5 important scuba diving topics we'll be discussing are your equipment, the number 1 rule, equalizing, hand signals, and skills practice. But first, let's have a quick look at what to expect on the day.
First, we will meet at the dive center to size you into scuba gear, and from there, head off to our dive site. Jesse and I will be assembling your equipment for you, so you can focus on the excitement that lies ahead. In shallow water, we will guide you through skill demonstration and practice, and once you feel that you're ready, we will explore the dive site together. The dive will end once you are low on air or when you signal to us that you are cold.
Keep in mind that throughout the entire in-water activity, you shall be under direct instructor supervision. Please listen to your instructors as they are only trying to help you have a more enjoyable experience and keep you safe. Take note that this is not a training course and will not qualify you to dive without a scuba diving professional present.
Alright, so let's start off with what is your equipment. Regulators enable you to breathe compressed air from your scuba tank while underwater. The BCD holds the tank on your back and lets you control your buoyancy. The SPG gauge displays how much air you have in your tank. Mask and fins help you see clearly and move swiftly in the water. A metal cylinder that's filled with compressed air for you to breathe. The wetsuit, gloves and boots are designed to keep you warm and toasty on your dive.
Great! So now that we know the different parts that make up our equipment, it's time to move on to the next section. The number 1 rule is to never hold your breath while scuba diving. Let's watch the video to find out why. If you think about it, your lungs are like balloons. When you breathe in, your lungs inflate, and when you breathe out, your lungs deflate. So what would happen if you hold your breath while scuba diving? Well, if you hold your breath while descending, your lungs will become smaller, creating dense pressure inside your full lungs. And if you held your breath as you ascended, the air in your lungs would increase in size. But because you took a breath at depth, the air will expand greater than the volume that your lungs can withstand, which can lead to a serious lung overexpansion injury. This is why the number 1 rule of scuba diving is to never ever hold your breath.
Thank you for explaining that to us, Jesse. Remember, it's best to breathe continuously throughout your dive. Now, let's move on to the next topic, equalizing. If you've ever flown in a plane or ever driven down a mountain pass, you would have felt as if your ears were blocked and possibly some slight discomfort. But why does this happen, and how does equalizing our ears fix the problem? Let's have a look inside our ear to see what is happening behind the scenes.
Why do we need to equalize? Well, to answer this question, we need to understand what is happening inside our ears when we submerge ourselves underwater. This is what it looks like inside your ear. When the water floods into our ears, it travels through the outer ear until it is stopped by the eardrum. The eustachian tube runs from your sinuses up into your middle ear and airspace behind your eardrum. When you dive deeper, the pressure of the water pressing against your eardrum increases and forces the eardrum to flex inward, causing discomfort. If you do not equalize, this can lead to pain and eventually result in an injury called barotrauma. When you equalize your ears, you blow air from your sinuses up the eustachian tube and into the middle ear. This allows the eardrum to return to normal, as the air pressure within the ear is equal to the water pressure surrounding it, and therefore alleviating the discomfort. So how do we go about equalizing our ears? The most common technique is to hold your nose and gently blow against pinched nostrils. While doing this, you may also wiggle your jaw, although keep in mind you will also have a regulator in your mouth, and swallowing also helps.
Remember, it's important to equalize early and often as you descend, before your ears start to hurt. If you can't equalize, it's best to ascend a meter before trying again. Once you have equalized, you can signal to your instructor and continue away to the bottom.
Awesome! Now that we know how to descend safely underwater, let's find out how scuba divers communicate to each other with the use of hand signals. Danel is going to run through with you the standardized signals so that it's not always a game of charades every time you want to say something.
The hand signal you're going to be using the most while underwater is OK, which can be used as both a question and an answer. It's also used to acknowledge that you have seen what your buddy or instructor is pointing out. Using the signal at the surface is easier to see from a distance. If you have a problem underwater, you can signal something is wrong and then point to where you think the problem lies. Your instructor will signal go up at the end of your dive and go down once you have equalized your ears. If you're having trouble with equalizing, you can signal this to your instructor, and similarly, your instructor can ask you if you have equalized by showing the same to you. You may be told to stop what you're doing underwater. This one is often a reaction to the cold, and an intuitive one to understand. The look signal is often followed by pointing in the desired direction, which will be used during skill demonstration to express look at me or watch me.
We as your instructors are responsible for watching your air gauge, although you are welcome to check it too. If we notice that you are low on air, which is set to 50 bar, then we will signal it to you like this. In the unlikely event that you run out of air, as we are only diving to 8 meters and will be closely watching your air, then a big gesture like this is how you can signal this to your instructor.
Now, let's take a look at some of the scuba diving skills we will be practicing. Since we've already discussed why equalizing is important, let's see how it works with a video demonstration.
Our second skill, regulator recovery, is for when you take your own regulator out of your mouth, or if someone by accident knocks it out of yours, so that you can easily recover and clear your regulator and continue breathing as normal.
The third skill, mask clear, enables you to clear the water that enters your mask without having to return to the surface every time it leaks. This doesn't happen as a result of a poor fitting mask, but because scuba divers are always smiling, which creates a crease in the silicone that seals the mask to your face, leaking in little droplets of water.
Well done! Now you know more about what scuba diving is all about. You know what a regulator and BCD are, why you should never ever hold your breath underwater, why we need to equalize our ears, how to signal if something is wrong, and you have seen someone do a mask clear. So when the day comes for you to experience scuba diving for yourself, you'll feel less nervous knowing that you have heard and seen it all before.
We absolutely can't wait to explore the underwater world together so that you may discover the magic hidden beneath the waves. After your experience, you might find yourself wondering, but what's next? If this is the case, please feel free to chat to either Jesse or myself about completing your PADI open water diving course, which enables you to dive anywhere in the world up to a depth of 18 meters. But for now, get excited, and we will see you very soon.